Hello and welcome to Transforming Tomorrow, the podcast from the Pentland Centre for Sustainability in Business here at Lancaster University Management School. I'm Paul Turner.
And I'm Professor Jan Bovington.
Jan, we're joined once again today by our three economists, Dakshina De Silva, Anita, Schiller and Aurelie Slechten. And we're going to be talking, after last time talking about industry, pollution, policy, we're going to bring it more down to the personal level. And we're going to look at consumers.
Indeed. And I mean, we all go to the supermarket and try to decide what to buy and how to make some of those decisions. My opening question to Anita is, can consumers drive businesses to be more sustainable through how they choose what they buy?
The idea that consumers will drive sustainability in business through their spending decision is it's kind of a hot topic. And the basic belief is that as people become more environmentally aware, and they would choose businesses offering sustainable products and services and pushing companies to go greener. However, this assumption's strength depends on several factors, and such as consumer awareness, income levels, perceived values, and the price premium of sustainable goods. So let's consider some factors influencing the consumer spending on green goods. So consumers who are more informed about the environmental issues are more likely to choose sustainable options. And the cost of sustainable products versus conventional ones is major factors as well. And some consumers are willing to pay more for the green products, but this can be limited by their incomes and the perceived value of sustainability features in the product. And if sustainable products are seen as a lower quality or less effective than their non-sustainable counterparts, consumers might hesitate to switch to the sustainable products. And another factor is that cultural attitudes towards sustainability can greatly influence consumers' behavior. So in societies with a strong emphasis on environmental responsibility, spending on green goods is often higher. That's what we find on the research. So there are some substantial number of research on willingness to pay for green goods, and studies shown about mixed but generally positive willingness among consumers to pay more for the sustainable products. In our study on the Netherlands, we showed that consumers' willingness to pay and demands are responsive to price increases in high-emitting goods and personality traits. In another study we have looked at is using the survey data from China. We showed that 85% of respondents indicates that they are willing to pay at least 10% more for energy efficient and environmental friendly products. So generally speaking, that younger consumers are more inclined to spend on sustainable goods compared to older generations. Additionally, higher income and education levels are linked to a greater willingness to pay for green products. So the willingness to pay for sustainability varies by market. So in developed countries with higher awareness and income levels, consumers are more likely to spend on green goods. In contrast, in developing countries, price sensitivity can be a bigger factor that limiting the market for premium sustainable products. So in a nutshell, that we can say that the belief that consumers will drive sustainability in business through their spending decision holds some truth, but isn't universally applicable. So while more people are prioritizing and willing to pay more for sustainable goods, their behavior is influenced by factors like awareness, income, perceived values, and cultural norms. So to capitalize on this trend, the business needs to consider these factors and work on the marketing, making their sustainable products more accessible, affordable, and appealing to effectively meet the consumer demand.
I'm the only person here who is from the UK, so I have the perspective of the UK culture and attitude towards green spending. I have someone from New Zealand, someone from Belgium, someone from Korea, and someone from Sri Lanka around the tables. Can you see differences in the cultural attitudes and willingness towards green products and paying for them in your own cultures and countries compared to what you see over here? I'm willing for anyone, you including Jan, to take that question and run with it.
Yes, but it depends, I think. So on some products in New Zealand, so like electricity most of it's hydro, so no one would pay a premium for wind produced electricity because hydro electricity is pretty good already. So there's some differentials between green and non-green that will be quite different, in which case that would undoubtedly affect the willingness to pay. And then New Zealand, like many other countries, has some level of polarisation polarization. I think that, the US is maybe our polarized exemplar. And so some people would, and some people definitely won't.
And it's obviously different products there. And I know that the research Dakshina and Anita have done, it examines different types of products and the willingness to pay levels, higher levels on those products, such as petrol, travel, etc., but also things such as meat products, etc. Aurelie?
The attitude toward sustainability among consumers is slightly different in Belgium and in the UK because of the focus on specific products, etc. I feel like for Belgium versus the UK, it's the difference comes more from difference in income rather than cultural difference.
Which again goes into what Anita was saying there about that's going to cut across countries as well as across within a country. Yeah. Dakshina?
Yeah, I mean, so I lived in US and Sri Lanka, grew up in Sri Lanka, studied and worked in US and now here. Like New Zealand, Sri Lanka is also heavily dependent on hydro. So, and solar. People are not willing to pay for additional electricity prices on that. I'm sure Sri Lankans cannot afford it anyway. So that's a different story. But yeah, I think when I go to the grocery store in Sri Lanka, I just went in December. So you can see there are a lot of products now saying sustainable farming or organic products and so on and so forth are there. So, but obviously these are not available for everybody. If you go to a small rural town, I don't know where it is growing, but it's already grown organically or not. But if you go to in Colombo area in a grocery store, they may have packeted and sealed and labeled. So it's getting there, but it's quite different from, let's say, UK or United States, where you can definitely go and find organically grown stuff. It depends also on the prices. This is what Anita and Aurelie and everybody was saying. I mean, it depends on how much you're willing to pay for these things. This is something we have done in with Netherlands as well. People are willing to pay for certain things, but not for petrol, intermediate good. So nobody wants to pay for additional anything for that. It varies from areas to areas, even within the countries, within certain parts of the country. So going back to your question, which I avoid about politics, let's think about people ideologies, right? People may vote with the ideologies, but think about the ideologies. That may drive whether you want to consume green products or not. I mean, if the product is the same quality and same, you have a variety, you have the product variety, and then you have the product has a similar quality, and the prices are similar or cheaper, people will consume. Right, that's the part people need to understand, I guess. So
I'm being drawn back there, Jan, to a discussion we had with our Lake District farmers about the quality of food, and maybe eating less of higher quality food is good for your diet, but also good sustainably as well.
Yes, indeed, and this is the consumer end of that conversation as well.
Anita, we started off with you there. So I mean, attitudes. It's that you've observed differences between Korea and obviously you've lived in America as well and over here.
So when I first moved to UK 10 years ago, there was a carrier bags when you go grocery store, how they used to be free, and then I don't know when it happened, they will start charging, and now everybody kind of carries like recyclable bag. How it kind of transition was quite different. Think about 10 years ago, I was just getting it for free ones, and same with the Korea, they don't charge you. I've been there last few years, they don't charge you. They don't give those plastic bags again, but they only give you trash bags, rubbish bags. So you have to put rubbish in prepaid bags. Yeah. So that's what they give you. If you say I didn't bring anything, they'll give you those bags, and you have to pay that trash bag to carry things out. And another thing is they trying to reduce people consume less plastic products. So Korea, they are very crazy about a caffeine, lots of coffee shops everywhere. Every block you will have everybody competing next to each other, one another. So many Starbucks and whatever, so many of them. So it's very common people just grab a coffee or tea, whatever. And many people take out. So to reduce plastic consumption, they start charging people. And then it didn't stop at coffee shops. It's a lot of maybe different than here, ice cream shops. People take out things. So I was getting ice cream, and then it was it came with one tiny spoon. So I had many people sharing big ice cream. So I said, can I have another one? He said it costs 50 pence per tiny spoon. It's like, really? Like, I didn't want to pay, so that was it. So that's just another example that encouraging, like, it's like they give you whatever that it comes with it, but additionally, it's like, I thought it was like quite expensive, then you just gonna be careful about what you're spending. And I think that's one way to like discourage people just wasteful being about plastic use and things like carrying out like products and things like that. So
that perfectly brings us to a final question, which is around things such as carbon taxes. I know that wasn't specifically a carbon tax, but it was an imposing an extra cost on a product there. Higher polluting products and subsidies. How do these impact spending on green products, Dakshina?
Already carbon tax on her spoon, I guess. That's what it is.
It's the equivalent of, isn't it? Yes, yeah.
Tax,
yeah. Who knew that they would come first for the ice cream servers? And that's it.
So the idea is putting a carbon tax or any tax on one of these the polluting product is to discourage usage, and then assuming that there's an alternative product which is green and environmental friendly, you'll be able to consume that more. So the other products, the polluting products, consumption of polluting products will go down, and the demand for alternative products will go up. So that will help. Thinking of Texas, ideologically, people don't like to pay taxes, right? I don't want to talk about United Kingdom. Let's talk about Texas, right? Nobody wants to pay taxes, right? Not nobody, but majority of them don't want to pay taxes. But then again, nobody wants to give subsidies either. But the farmers get subsidies. That's a different story, I guess, for them. What in a society like that, what should we do? Well, if that is the case, what you need to do is like come up with a product which is same quality or better quality and at a cheaper prices. So innovation will be the driving force in that case. So that's where I think carbon taxes are fine. I don't have any problem with it. I will not use spoons in Korea, I guess, but having a better product, better quality product. If you put a better quality product to the market, people will consume, and regardless of whether it is environmentally friendly or not. People like quality. People like the policies also should have in a certain way. So this is where our earlier podcast about markets comes into play as well, which when Aurelie was talking about markets, there will be a demand, there will be a supply, and if the price is right, the market will clear. If not, you will have an excess or a shortage. Otherwise, then you have to either taxes or either subsidies has to be used to clear the market. If the product is good, I think the market will clear.
And I like the way that links back to our earlier podcast with you as well, because if we can innovate within business organisations and create great products with low pollution, then that's the best outcome, rather than, because afterwards you are correcting the markets, which I think was a point that Aurelie made quite early on. So getting the markets right rather than having to correct them seems like a smarter way to go.
And I'm imagining a future where all of us in the summer walk around with a spoon in our pockets just so we don't have to pay the extra. Like we all go around with plastic bags now so that we don't have to take them from the supermarkets, but all walk around with little wooden spoons in our pockets ready for our ice cream treat. Maybe I should do that anywhere. I'm going to write that down and make a note for that for the next time I'm out.
You'll become a trendsetter.
I will. Thank you very much, Dakshina, Anita and Aurelie. This has been a wonderful couple of podcasts. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time, Jan, we're back to your more comfortable territory, accounting and finance.
Yes.
We're going to have Professor Mark Shackleton from here at Lancaster University Management School with us. He's going to be talking to us about issues such as ESG.
Environment, social and governance.
I know you know it, but I just like to throw tests at you occasionally, and how it relates to markets, investing, investor behaviour, and how that can influence companies and their actions. Until then, I'm Paul Turner.
And I'm Professor Jan Babington.